Hi, I'm Bonnie Linke, and welcome to Stamping with Bonnie Lynn. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I'm bringing you a card that I made with these two sets here. Sweet candy canes, and I did use the bundles on each, and the Christmas banners. And they are wonderful sets. They're probably my top, well, they are definitely in my top 5, maybe my top 2. So besides these two stamp sets, I also used the stylish shapes. I used the second largest round die. And then the Christmas banner dies, we used this banner die cut right here. And then on the candy cane dies, we used the two mistletoe dies. And we used that to cut the glimmer paper. Oh, and you'd probably like to see which card we made. Well, let me find the card. Okay, here we go. It is right here. And we used the Sweetest Christmas Designer Series paper. We used the red and white glimmer paper. We used the Glimmer Specialty paper, which is evergreen glimmer, very vanilla, and gold. And then also we used the embellishment, the trinket, the flat trinket jingle bell. And unfortunately, I can't find mine today, so I am going to put in something from long ago in place of it. What's great about this embellishment is that it kind of fits right under there so that when you mail it, you're not going to have any problems. And what I like to do is take a piece of cardstock, and I'll be honest, I do buy a less expensive cardstock at Walmart for this. I place it, I use a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 piece of cardstock, and I place it over top the card when I put it into my envelope. You can also use it to write a note on if you want to. It's not quite, I would say, as heavy as the Stampin' Up!, but it works wonderful for just making everything a little bit smoother when you put it in your envelope. And that way nothing gets caught as you're putting it in, because if you look at this card with the mistletoe and the banner and the bow and the embellishment, there's plenty that could get caught, and this prevents that. So, okay. And it's Garden Green Designer Series paper. Now, in the comments below that I write when I post a video, there will be a link to my website, to the page where the directions are for this card. And it gives you all the measurements and all the supplies I use. So everything's right there for you. But before we get started, I want to remind you that celebration ends August 31st. And up until then, if you place a $50 merchandise order, you get a free celebration item, and there are still some wonderful things to pick from. And then if you place a $100 order, there's even a step-up items that you can choose from. And one of my favorite is the Aspen dies. So lots of good things to consider. It's a good time to place an order and get some free merchandise. And if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love it if you would consider using me as your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And when you visit my website, there will be the opportunity to sign up for my emails. I send out 2 a week, usually, always for sure. And occasionally I'll send out a third one if there's something special to let you know that Stampin' Up! Has going, like if it's a free shipping day, or if the new paper pumpkin once a month to announce what it is for the following month, and items like that. And speaking of paper pumpkin, if you got the August paper pumpkin kit, the sunflowers, oh, they were gorgeous. I just loved them. And the envelopes that they gave with those were fantastic. I actually used some of my envelopes to use for as a designer series paper. So lots of options there. The one that's coming in September is Halloween related for treats. And I don't know if you have a get together with friends and everything, you could use that to give them a treat for Halloween, or grandchildren, or even children. It's a great choice, great opportunity to do something special for people. All right. So, okay, let's get started on making this card. Now, the ribbon I used here was an older ribbon because I did not yet have the ribbon from the July to December mini catalog, but I have it now, and I will show you that when we're making the card. And after we're done, I'm going to show you a card that I made using framelits to cut out my paper instead of cutting it with the trimmer, for just another option. So I've done some of my stamping already, but I'm going to show you how to stamp the greeting, the banners, using the Stamparatus. But I went ahead and stamped it and cut it out so that you didn't have to watch me cut it out. So I start off with my garden green cardstock. I fold it in half. It's scored at the 4 1/4 mark, and I just burnish it with my bone folder. I love my bone folder. So many good things to use it for. All right, and then now that I have this, next comes the white cardstock. And now, as you see, my wreath is circle. I could not do that on my own. I'm just not that good. So what I did is I took my piece of white cardstock, and this is what I used the stitch dies for. I cut out the second largest circle out of the middle of my first layer, the white cardstock. And I put my tear and tape on here already. So I'm just going to put this on right here. And once I get my designer series paper layered on here, you won't even know there was a hole in there. So I get that position where I want it. I use my take your pick tool to get my tape started. And it's just that easy. I do the short side first, and then I go and do one of the long sides. I turn it a 1/4 of a turn, and that way I have 2 sides down. Now I come to this corner here, and I take the backing off of both sides of my tear and tape. That way it goes down evenly. And if I had put down this side before taking it off of this, I would have never gotten it off. I'm not concerned that I didn't tape around the hole because my designer series paper is going to cover it. And I used a different color than what the card sample was that I showed you. This one has the red, and it also has, and I believe that's the Sweet Sorbet, the lighter color red, and it has the pool party in it too. So I just center that on there and start over again with the short side, turn it a 1/4 of a turn, do the long side, and then another 1/4 of a turn and take off the remaining on both sides. And the red on the back, the polka dot, is really pretty. I thought about using that, but then decided not to. I really like this Sweet Christmas Designer Series paper. The candy canes that are on it, you can cut those out with the candy cane dies, which I love that. The Stampin' Up! Does that. Okay, so now it's time to do the wreath. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of tear and tape on my back of my circle. I'm going to put 2 pieces across. I'm going to take the backing off, and then I'm going to turn it and put one down the middle this way. There we go. And I'll get rid of that. So I had made a video earlier of this, but I made a couple mistakes, big enough mistakes that I could not edit them out and fill it in. So I just decided to redo it. And besides that, I need lots of Christmas cards. Okay, so there we go. And yes, what the mistake was, I forgot to show you how to do the inside, and I forgot to show you the other card when I said I would. So to me, that was worth a redo. All right, what I do is I start on the side, and I want to try and figure it where the banner is going to be, because that way, when I do these, I notice that on the last ones, I'm a little bit shy, so I want to make sure that the banner is going to cover where this one, because this one will go, I'll slide it under there, and see, it will actually go about like that. So I want the banner to cover it because I put them closer than that. And you'll see what I mean when we're done. Now I just use one glue dot to hold these down. And I take it, I put the red down, and then I am doing the green. And I try to line it up so that on the inner side, those two are touching, the bottom part of the mistletoe leaf and the top part of that one. And that this part here is covered. And you want to make sure your outer, this edge here is covered too. And then you just alternate the colors. Now I use 7 of each color as I'm doing this. But I do, in case I should get them closer together than what I normally do, I do cut 8 of each color. Okay, and occasionally I'll go along and I'll cut the bottom off right there, because it's just going to stick out too much. I can't quite get it to turn every time quite to get it where it needs to be, if that made sense at all to you. Okay, and sometimes that, you know, the bottom leaf on the prior one, you end up cutting it, covering it more than what you thought you would. Let's see. Cut down like so, yeah. And then when I'm all done, I'll go back and I'll make sure that everything is firmly attached with the glue dot. If not, I'll add a glue dot here and there. Now you could use a smaller circle if you wanted to. I wouldn't go any larger because I think that would just be too big. And besides being on YouTube, Stamping with Bonnie Lynn is also on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and then my website. So I would really love it if you would follow me on any of those places. And if you like my cards, I send out a card recipe twice a week. I would love it if you signed up on my website to join my email list. I also have a rewards program. It's real original, called Bonnie's Rewards. And what happens every time you spend $25 in merchandise, you get a rewards point. And after you get 10 points, you'll earn a $25, I guess a gift card from me is the way to call it. You'll be able to shop with it on an order of your choosing. And when you go to my website, there's a tab up there that says customer rewards. And that's where you'll find the program. I line it out for you. You need to use my host code when you order, as long as your order is under $150 merchandise. If it's over that, then please use your, don't use the rewards code, because then you'll get the Stampin' Rewards, which is $15, I believe, at $150 of merchandise. So let me see, I use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now see, that time I haven't done my other green one, and this is empty. And there is a form for you to print out, so that once you have your 10 reward, to keep track of your orders, and when you have 10 reward points, you just notify me. Either you can text me a copy of the form or email it to me, and I'll get you your gift card, and you can use it yourself. You can transfer it to somebody else. You just need to let me know what you want to do on that. And when you do use your gift card, being it is for me only, I need to place that order for you so that we can get that credit for you. Okay, there we go. We got the wreath done. Isn't that pretty? I love this glitter paper. It is so pretty. And it is, if you remember back to their old glitter paper, it was rougher. This is nice and smooth. Okay, now I want to show you how I stamp these. I use the Stamparatus. And what I did is I took a 2x5 piece of cardstock. I actually think this is a little bit longer because it's what I had. And I laid my stamp on the cardstock. Well, I'll just do it. I laid it on the cardstock where I wanted it. It doesn't matter because I'll be cutting it out. Hold it down with my magnet. Excuse me. And then I ink it up. And I'm using the Roll Red ink. Okay, now I have arthritis in my hand, so I used my roller here, my brayer, to press down with. It's easier for me. And that is pretty, but I think I'm going to give it another one. There we go. I'll close this up. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this off so I don't put my hand in it and get ink all over me. Now I'm going to use the Christmas banner die set. And I could either put this up here or I could put it to the side. Either way, it won't matter. And I'm going to put Merry Christmas in here. So I'm going to do the Merry first. And then the Christmas. And let's see. Oh, your brayer, you don't want to lay the roller down on the surface. You want to put it up so that it's not leaning anything against anything and it won't get flat. And I'll just use my take your pick tool to kind of push this up to where I want it. Get it somewhat even. There we go. And then close my lid there to get the stamps on the lid. And I'll go ahead and ink them up in garden green. Roll that on. And that looks pretty good, but I'm going to give it another one just because I like it a little bit darker. Perfect. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? I like that. All right. And then I just take my banner die. And I do use, oops, turn it the right way. I do use either washi tape or I'll use purple tape to hold my banners in place on something like this. where it's important that it doesn't move or jump, I'll put 2 pieces on it and then put it through the die machine. The washi tape, the purple tape, they do not stick to your paper permanently, so they're real easy to get up. And it just gives you a really much better cut. Okay, so we'll move this out of the way. I put it on the floor, so hopefully I don't forget about it and step on it and get green ink all over me. And yes, I would be known to do that. Okay, where is the banner that I had already cut? Oh, right there in front of me. Okay. It's been one of those days. I got up early and worked out in the yard. We have a garden. And then I had to finish the pickling process of pickling some cucumbers today. So it's been a busy day. Okay, I put dimensionals on my banner, and I did use 4 of them. I want to make sure it stays up, supported, and doesn't get squished in the mill. I'm just going to put that right there like so. That's so pretty. I love this card. I love this set. Okay, now, being I don't have my trinket flat bill, jingle bell, this is an old set of bill, Christmas, what is it called? It is called Christmas Trinkets Embellishments. And you can tell it's an older set because it's the old labels that they used to use, not the black and white that they use now. Okay, so what I did is I put a piece of cording through it, twine. This is some older twine, and tied it off so it hangs down a little bit. I wanted it to hang down some. Then I put it on a glue dot. Now I'm just going to take this glue dot and put it right up there. And now I need a ribbon. And this is the ribbon from the catalog this year. It's kind of a satin ribbon, and it has the rib edging, which I really like. You can't really see through it. You can see a little bit of light through it, but you got it in the real red and the garden green. And I like both of them. So I'm going to take my bow and I'm going to use glue dot for it also. I use a lot of glue dots on this card because they're easy in case I get something on wrong or something. They're easy to maneuver around. Okay. There we go. And let me see. And I'm going to add a couple more glue dots there along the bottom. I knew when I was making it that it was a little loose because sometimes the glue dots just stick to the glitter paper in front, so there's not a lot holding the wreath in place. I want to make sure it doesn't go anyplace. Yeah, I need one up here too. It'd be embarrassing if there's only 1 or 2 of those glue dots that's actually attached to the designer series paper and it fell off. But I didn't want to use 2 on each of the mistletoe because I wasn't sure if I was going to have to stick anything in from underneath or not. All right, so there's the front. I really like this card. I like how easy it is to make. It's just a little bit of cutting with your cut and emboss machine to cut out all your pieces. Okay, now for the inside, I've already stamped a saying. This is one of my favorites. It retired last year. You may be able to find it on eBay or on one of the used Stampin' Up sites. But for Unto Us, it's a cling stamp set. I love these sayings. Okay. And now I need to do some mistletoe on here. Now, in this card right here, as you can, oh wait, that's the card we just made. This one here, I took the glitter mistletoe and put it on there, which is nice. It's pretty, but I happen to like the mistletoe better. So we're gonna do that. So grab my piece of mistletoe. And both of the mistletoe die cuts are the same. So they do fit this because there's only one stamp. And it just turns one way a little bit, and that's it. Okay, so I'm gonna stamp one up in this corner, and then one hanging down right here. I didn't want to take it, reverse it, and have it go up, because I just thought it looked prettier this way. And also, while I got the stamp out, let me grab an envelope. And what we're going to do is I'm going to stamp one in the middle of the envelope flap on the back. And I like this stamp because it's not solid. You can see the difference in the colors on the leaves. It has character. There, a trio of mistletoe. And then I'll just hang one down right here. You could probably do more if you wanted to, but I just wanted to do the one. So we'll close this up and set it off to the side. Our envelope is done. You could also put a piece of designer series paper across the back. That would look quite pretty too. And then we just line this up in here. I've made 4 of this type of card, and 2 of them I used the saying that came with the stamp set, and that saying says, "Wishing you lots of love, joy, and happiness this Christmas season and always." And that's a beautiful stamp set too, or just a stamp. There we go. And that's it. The card is all done. See how pretty it is? I like the pool party with the red and the green. And then we have my original one that I did, which is just the green designer series paper. And then this one right here, it's a little bit different. What I did on this one, I used the decal rectangular dies, and I cut out the white cardstock with the largest one. And then with the next to largest one, I cut out my designer series paper. And I used another one of the 4N2S stamps to stamp in this one. And that's it. And let's see, on this one here, on the back, I have a handcrafted by Bonnie stamp that I use. And then I put the Stampin' Up! Logo on the back, because I do have neighbors and friends that come by and will want to buy cards, and so to sell them for our angel policy, it has to have the copyright Stampin' Up! Mark. And also I'm doing a craft sale this year, and so we'll see what happens there. So there you go. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you liked it, and I appreciate you spending your time with me, and I look forward to hearing from you. Feel free to leave comments on my different pages. Thank you much, and have a wonderful day. Bye.